we ended up really taking charge of Cannes and like kind of trying to see like what it's like to sell a film. And there's actually a list of distributors there that you can get the email, and it'll have the list of like, here are all the big people who are showing up and they're here to buy films. So we just went back to our villa the one day and we got on our laptops and we're like, you email that person, you email that person. And we were just setting up meetings left and right. And by the time we had made it there, a lot of them had left, but we ended up getting a couple meetings with people and we sold our film, which was just, it was like, wow, we're doing this. Like this was just a 48-hour weekend. And here we are selling our film in the French Riviera to Shorts TV. And it was the beginning of something that I became very obsessed with. And I just love it. I love it all.
Welcome again to Screenwriters Talk Screenwriting. This episode is all about the 48-hour film project, which many of my friends and I just did a couple weeks ago, in which we all wrote and produced short films in 48 hours. This is something I definitely recommend for anyone who wants to try producing and see what it's like to get something written and produced quickly. My guests in this episode are Maria Braun, Lillith Crimi, Jordan Imiola, Justin Zelli, and Ryan Zunner. This episode of Screenwriters Talk Screenwriting is presented by scriptreads.com. If you're looking for script coverage by real screenwriters who've actually made movies, go to scriptreads.com. Now, enjoy this episode all about the 48-hour film project.
Screenwriters Talk Screenwriting. Screenwriters Talk Screenwriting. Screenwriters Talk Screenwriting. 48-hour film project.
All right, let's get into it. Welcome everyone to Screenwriters Talk Screenwriting. So this is mostly a screenwriting podcast, if you guys haven't noticed from the title. So I will be asking some writing questions up front. But pretty much I want, if we all can, I guess, go in alphabetical order, which I just realized I'm probably going to go first because we're doing it by first name. But yeah, if we want alphabetical order, say who you are, what you like most in terms of like filmmaking, like producing, screenwriting, directing, or if you do all of them, feel free to mention them all, because I know a bunch of you are multi-talented. And then also how many years you've been doing the 48-hour film project. And the reason for this podcast is because I recommend the 48-hour film project to a bunch of my clients and students and just people in general, because I love that you write something on Friday night and it has to get produced by Sunday night. So that's super cool. So so I guess I'll introduce myself first. This is awkward, but whatever. I'm Jordan Imiola. I'm a screenwriter for the most part. I do other stuff too, but screenwriting is my jam. And I've been doing the 48-hour film project for the past 3 years. So that's me. Now, I guess we'll go to the other Jordan now.
Alrighty, I'm Jordan Lemu from Lemu Studios and the Buffalo 48-hour film project. I run the competition. I'm not a screenwriter. That's one of the things. So I write things sometimes. I'm a video producer, so I have to do a lot of things sometimes. But I wouldn't call myself a screenwriter because I don't really write movies. I don't do that. But I've shot a bunch of movies. And what if you were going to pick my strength in any of this world? Well, I guess at this point it'd be producing, but previously it would be as a director of photography and a cinematographer. I was really, really passionate about that. And when I did compete in the 48-hour film project, which is many times, I won 5 times best cinematography. I competed maybe 8 times over 10 years. And I've been running the competition for 8 years. So I've been involved in this for a really long time, and it's a big part of my life.
Wow. Yeah, 16 years total?
I think it's even more than that, but I don't know because I'm bad at math. But it's just so basically for the math wizards out there, 2017 was the first one in Buffalo, I think. And I was in
2007. 2007.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 2007. I told you I'm not great at math. So 2007, and I did win best cinematography that year. And then in 2008, my team won best film, and we're in the top 15 that went to Cannes. And at the time, I didn't know there was a Cannes thing, and didn't go and didn't pursue it. And now I kick myself really hard, really hard.
I want to hear about Cannes later on from you and Maria as
Of
well.
course.
That's a question probably in like 20 minutes from now.
Sure.
We'll keep it going with Justin.
Yeah, I'm Justin Zelli. I'm mainly an editor. I work in education. I'm an editor for UBC's Online, which is the science and engineering school. I've been doing 48 for this is my fourth year doing it, second year leading a team doing it. Last couple years I've done it with Ryan actually leading the team with him. So
Awesome. Awesome. Lily.
I am Lillith Crimi. This is my first year doing the 48-hour film fest, so I just directed for this one. Usually I write and direct, but it was kind of nice just kind of focusing more on one thing, especially for a project this hectic.
Yeah, definitely. And you did a great job for that's why I wanted to bring you on here, because I was like, oh, this film was awesome. And I wanted to get because I think the first year too is definitely intimidating. After the first time it gets easier, but I think, yeah, I wanted to hear from someone who did the first time this year. So awesome. The first question will be with you in like 2 minutes, but we'll keep going with Marie and Ryan.
Hey, I'm Maria Braun. Between the 48 and 4 Points, which is the sister competition, this was my 11th. And I'm mostly talent, but I've shifted into directing in the past couple of years and have been loving it ever since.
Awesome. Ryan, go ahead.
And I'm Ryan Zunner. This year was my sixth 48-hour film competition. I've been doing it since 2019. I've always done a little mix of acting and writing, really coming into my own in the writing aspect. I've been our team's lead writer for the past couple of years. And I'm also really passionate about like sound design, sound editing. By trade, I'm a radio journalist, so I work with audio every day. So it's a really easy transition for me to do. So just about every day, I'm having some part in the production, which is nice for the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Well, okay, cool. So we still have the buzz of the 48. It was the weekend before last, which we all made short films in 2 days, 48 hours. And then what's really cool about Buffalo, which I didn't realize not happens in every city, but because of Jordan, I'm sure a lot, we get to watch those films directly a week later, the next weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So we just watched the premieres of what was it, 36 films in Buffalo?
Something like that. I think there was 35.
Yeah.
35, yeah.
Awesome. So we watched 35 films over the weekend, and now we're doing this 2 days later. So we still have that buzz going, which is awesome. So I wanted to hear, how did it go this year for everyone's films? What was the process like for you all? And we'll go from first year to most years, I guess. So Lily, tell us how to go for you.
I mean, it went pretty well. I really enjoyed it. There was definitely I'd say there was more hiccups than I expected, but I didn't really know what I was expecting. So, I mean, obviously we spent the whole first night just writing. It was just three of us. We were kind of sitting around on the couch. Like we had one person on the computer. We were all kicking around ideas. And our writer Cameron had a script like done, ready to go by 2 a.m, and his computer crashed and lost the entire thing. So yeah, we were then up till 4 finishing that. Well,
No.
yeah, that was a little nerve-wracking. Production actually went pretty okay, pretty smooth. We ended up cutting some things for time, but they ended up being fine to cut anyways. So, and then I ended up, long day of editing, and that went all pretty smooth too. So overall, it was a pretty good, fun experience.
Awesome. How much sleep do you think you got between those two?
Not enough. I think I was like working for 30 out of those 48 hours.
Awesome. But yeah, it's worth it though. Definitely worth it. Yeah. And the film came out great. And I'll explain really quick, and you guys feel free to add anything here. But how the 48-hour film project works is you have a team lead sign up, and then the team lead creates a team, gets cast and crew together. And then on Friday night around 7 o'clock, every team lead draws 2 genres out of a hat. And you have to choose between those 2 genres, your short film. And then everybody gets the same line of dialogue, the same prop, and the same character they have to use. Am I missing anything?
That's pretty
right?
good.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Good explanation. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah,
but
you have to do it
all over the world. So not all the 48-hour film projects have the same stuff. So every city that's doing it, because there could be multiple cities doing it at a time, and they all have different stuff in their required elements.
Yeah. I have a friend who did in Chicago actually the same weekend we did it, and I asked him what his character and line of dialogue was, and they were completely different than our line of dialogue and our prop and our character. Um, so yeah, but it's awesome that it's everywhere around the world. But yeah, Ryan and Justin, you two are on the same team. How did it go for you guys?
Yeah, it went really well. We do a lot of like pre-production stuff, like getting our team together. It was the biggest team we've ever had. We had 27 people on our team. So it was a lot of people to wrangle and get moving in the right direction. Thankfully, like me and Ryan do a pretty good job of working together. We're pretty good friends outside of the competition as well. So we do pretty much all of our projects together. Like I helped out on a film he did last year, Three Strikes. So we work together a lot. So we tend to do well in terms of ranking people and getting everybody on the right track.
Yeah, I think that's one of the added bonuses for our teams, and maybe it's like that for other teams too, where you get together with people that either you went to college with or your friends or you've collaborated before, and it's really just that weekend where you can all have all your artistic energy just come together and make something really fun. Definitely felt that in the editor's room and on set, and even a lot in the pre-production too. Justin alluded to that's something the last couple of years we've really decided that we can plan ahead for certain things, right? Your things like locations, things like getting your cast and crew, ready and scheduled out kind of for the weekend is something that we've seen as more of an important tool, and it just makes the weekend go a little bit smoother. I don't think you can ever have a completely smooth 48-hour weekend, but certainly those things just lessen the degree of failures that can happen. And yeah, we had a pretty large team this year. We've done some years where we've had as little as like 8 or 9 people. We've had this year where we've had like 27. So I think as long as you're prepared to kind of have a large team, it can work. And you see that, I think it comes across well, in the final product where you can really see the amount of collaboration, the amount of skill on set.
The big
Awesome.
team, like the super team, is a double-edged sword, right? Because you have so many talented people doing so many awesome things, but
Yes.
it's also so much to manage. And there's so many moving pieces that it can go wrong sometimes. So that's part of the game, right? So you have a lot of awesome resources and a lot of people together, and another team may have less, but you're operating the same time frame and you're giving it your all. A big team has a lot of wheels in motion, a lot of things that can go wrong. A small team has less of those, and it's part of what equalizes everyone in the tournament or in the competition, right? They all have the same constraints, and going really big in a short period of time can be hard, and it takes very skilled people like you to navigate that and to do a good job.
Yeah. 27 people scares me, you guys. That's way too
It scared me too.
Yeah.
like I think I had 7, maybe 8 people on my team, and I was good. Marie, what about you? How'd it go for you?
Yeah, Jordan hit the nail on the head with that. I've done teams in the past where it was probably around 27 to 30. And that is, I mean, there's a point where like you have too many people and people are sitting around and they're like, I don't really know what to do. And you're just managing bodies. Whereas this year, I was really excited that we scaled things down. So we had a new team called Scope Takes this year. There were a couple people I had worked with before and some that I was meeting for the first time. So we had maybe, I don't know the exact number, maybe like 9 or 10. And midway through Saturday, I was like, we are a few hands short. Like we were spreading ourselves way too thin. I directed and I acted, and I had my child on set with me too. She was in the film, so I was playing mom as well. So it was like beyond me. I needed a couple extra hands, but yeah, it's definitely about finding that balance. So I'd say maybe like 13 people would be the magic number for the future.
It's good to know. Good to know. Awesome. And Jordan, so you're the city producer. How did it go for you setting everything up? Did you do
Well, teams are important, and I'm very lucky to have a good team helping me with it all. Mr. Tyler Burgett has been working on the 40-hour film project with me for 8 years now, and he came into the company because of the 48. So I was like a freelancer. I had the biggest job of my life, and I also was going to run the 40-hour film project, and Tyler came around. So he helps a lot at this point with managing basically the films coming in, making the reels, He does some stuff in the dashboard at this point, which when I first started, I had all that locked down. I wouldn't let anyone touch it. And it's good now to have a team helping. Mr. Ian Cherico is a fantastic editor who helps make our promos and does, I mean, I would say, when I say help makes, he edits them and does that. So he's the guy that does it. And Miss Tabby Rathel, who is our social media manager and coordinator, and she did a fantastic job getting the word out. And I haven't got the box office yet, but I'm not going to be surprised if it's our biggest one ever, because we had 2 big days, and I can only credit that to great social media work and a great team. So we did awesome. I got to say, it felt really good. It was a year that felt really good.
Yeah, I think it definitely was. I went to Saturday and Sunday, and Sunday I got there a little late. I couldn't find a seat. Like I was trying to figure out where to sit, so I had to go all the way to the left. But yeah, so I think there was a ton of people for both premieres. And I think for me too, mine went pretty well. I like to keep my team 7 or 8 people. I'm very organized, and I like to have the writing done by Friday night at like 1 a.m. At least the first draft, and then I stay up all night rewriting or whatever. And then we shoot Tuesday morning. We usually wrap around 5 o'clock Saturday, and that gives about 24 hours or more to edit. So I love my system. That's what I try to do. I want to know from all of you. We'll start with Lily again. Is there anything you would do differently next time, or anything you've learned from doing it this time around, or for everyone else, like your first time? Is there anything you've learned that like, okay, next time I'm gonna do it differently?
I would have made a more cohesive shot list along with the script. With how chaotic it was, we got lost a few times, and we're kind of just running gunning it, like 2 little cameras just recording everything. I'm like, what did we get so far? Like, did we film this part yet? Like, did you say that line? And I would have maybe paid a little more attention to that, but we were spread super thin. We had a pretty small team. It was we had about 4 people really doing the production stuff, and the rest were mostly acting. So it was, it was a lot to keep track of, and I don't think that I thought that through all the way before doing this. So next year, that's definitely something I'd focus on a little bit more.
Yeah, and you shot everything. I think you shot everything in your basement, right?
A lot of it, yeah.
Cool,
Yeah.
awesome. What time did you wrap filming?
Like it was like 10 o'clock, but we started at 8, 9 in the morning, so it was kind of long, and then we did a few pickups on Sunday morning.
Cool. Awesome. Ryan and Justin, what about you guys?
Yeah, I think ours went generally pretty well, but I'm gonna have to steal Lily's there, like a more cohesive shot list. We've never done a shot list before, which is maybe a mistake, but we've never done one in the past. So this year we were like, we got to do one. Still pretty bare bones, and I think next year we have to kind of add to that and be like, all right, we need to give this like real attention here, so that on set we can speed things up. We definitely had a slower on set year than we have in the past. We didn't start shooting until like 10 o'clock, and our film was all outdoors, or 90% of it was outdoors. And we didn't wrap till like 8 p.m. So it was like cutting it real close with the sunlight.
Wow.
Yeah, it ended up working, that final shot that we ended up shooting, which was the beach scene, which was an early scene in the movie. It needed to be essentially in the morning, but we ended up shooting it last. So luckily, the way we shot it with the sun set, you could also make it seem like it was a sunrise. So luckily that kind of worked out. But yeah, when we wrapped on that last final shot, I mean, it was like maybe 20 minutes and then the sun was down. So really cutting it close on the wire there. Definitely a lot of things you can do to speed up on set. One thing that maybe I would say, and Justin, we've talked about this many times, maybe having like a B cam, a 2-camera shoot to just speed up and get those other coverage angles might help, and give more room for the editors too, to be able to play around within scenes.
Yeah.
You guys have been doing this is for Maria as well, and Jordan, I guess. You guys have been doing this or you two have been doing this for like 6, 7 years now as a team. What have you done differently, like your first year to this year?
A whole lot for us. A whole lot. I mean, we've changed like every aspect. I mean, I think everybody has the mindset of like continual growth, right? You don't want to repeat any mistake twice. So every single year we kind of sit down afterwards, we think about our mistakes, probably 2, 3 weeks after everybody meets and we talk about, okay, like what went wrong and what can we do better and how can we fix it and what do we need, people wise. We've had years where there's been bad audio. We've had years where there's been no color grading because we haven't had time in the editor's room. We've had like every problem in the book, I feel like, at some point.
Mhm.
And so we're finally getting to a point where I'm like, oh, we're actually feeling like we're making a pretty solid film now. And I'm pretty happy with the final outcome. So it's pretty nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, I think my first one was 2016. 2017 was the first one that my team won. And I feel like with that happening so early, we were like, let's just lock in and do the same thing every year. And I feel like it's worked for us. We kind of have like this system that I've carried through 4 different teams now. I would say the one thing that I haven't always been consistent with, but I recognize its absence when we're not using this person as a DIT, somebody who's dumping footage and someone who might be pulling selects like as we're still shooting. It's such a huge help to kind of set up the editor ahead of time to say, all right, I've got the shots I need. Let me just piece things together. So that's something that I would always hope to have in the future. Because I feel it when we don't have that person.
Piggybacking off of that, when I used to compete, we had 2 editors. So we had someone that was really like roughing things up, getting the shots in there, and then we had like a finisher. So having that multi-stage edit really helped, so that one person wasn't locked in on choosing the selects while the clock is ticking. But my biggest advice is about writing. This is a writing podcast.
Nice. Yeah.
And, write with few, brainstorm with many, because oftentimes the writing room can be real congested and everyone wants to have their input. So what my team landed on after years and years was everyone who wants to be involved in 1 hour of brainstorming session can do that. So everyone, 30 people, chime in for an hour, but then wrap that hour up and then have the core writing team take it and run with it. And that core writing team could be 1 person, could be 2 or 3, but having 7 or 8 people try to craft that story, throwing in their input. You've got egos that you're dealing with. You've got people that really think their idea is the best, and then they start to get sour if you're not going with it, and they keep on talking about it. So it's like you've got these issues that come up when there's way too many cooks in the kitchen. But amazing stuff can come from that brainstorm session with everyone giving their input. Or you might hear about someone having a boat or something available, and then it totally changes your trajectory of what you want to do with this thing. But you would never know that if you didn't hear everyone out for that first hour.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that kind of answered my next question, at least for you. But I want to ask everyone too about the writing process. I think for my team, I totally agree. We brainstorm as soon as I get out from the team leads. I meet everyone on the team. We brainstorm for about 2 or 3 hours, and I make sure we have 10 story ideas written down, and there's a story there. Is my biggest thing, is make sure there's a story. Make sure there's a clear act 1, act 2, act 3, whatever we're coming up with. And usually in those 10 brainstorming ideas, this year I let everyone vote. I'm like, vote for 2. Here's all the ideas. We'll go over all 10. Vote for 2. And usually of the everyone, there's usually 1 or 2 that stick out as like, this is the clear winner. This is the one that everyone wants to do. And after that 2 or 3 hour session, we do it. We go to the bar matinee and we wait till matinee closes. That gives us a good deadline because matinee closes at 10 o'clock. I send everyone home. Everyone goes to sleep, and I write the script. I go home, write the script. And then we do a table read first thing in the morning. We always do a table read, then we start shooting. So yeah, I wanted to know from everyone, what is your writing process like? Do you have a dedicated writer, or do you go ahead? How does everyone go about it? We'll go in the same order. Lily, go ahead.
So it was me and then Erica and Cameron, who were both the leads in our film. We kind of just sat around and we talked for a while. We pretty quickly came up with the general idea, and then we just kind of played around with it for a while, and then we just kind of let Cameron be in the corner with his laptop for a while. And if he had something come up that he was like, oh, what about this, or should I write it like this, he would talk to us about it. And then other than that, we kind of just let him cook on that. And we, read the final thing and we were like, yeah, this is good. Or, there's a couple things we're like, maybe we do it like this. And it was pretty efficient. I really like how we did it. And I think we're going to do it the same way next year.
Awesome. Ryan and Justin.
Yeah. So for our team, the first night we have everyone come over to my house. So there's 20 odd people in my house. I don't have a very large house either, but, we sit around, we watch the live stream of the, the genres getting selected. And immediately, so while Justin's out there at the selection, as soon as we see what we get, we immediately have a big whiteboard, and it is that kind of collective collaboration of going through ideas and splitting it up too, right? So our 2 genres this year were fantasy and vacation/holiday movie. So first, we take a look at what are some ideas for just taking one genre, right? And we see those, and then we kind of sense, okay, can we combine these? What are some of the shared ideas there? So this year we did end up deciding to combine them. And then after Justin gets back, so you're talking maybe an hour and a half of brainstorming, then our writing team locks ourselves in another room. Nobody else is really allowed to come in or out except maybe the director every once in a while. And we just lock in on Writer Duet, which is a great collaborative, screenwriting software.
Yep.
And we lock in doing that. But we will still occasionally do some collaboration with the other room, like outside in the living room, the common area. If we get stuck on something that we think we can continue on without it. So things like a funny one-liner we want, or certain character names or occupations, so some things that are certainly important, but not major plot points where we can keep pushing on to try to finish the script. We'll popcorn it out to the room. Somebody will go out there, the director, write down a bunch of notes of people's input, come back, and we kind of select something there so that it still creates that collaboration throughout the night, but still allows us to like actually write the script. And this year, what I really loved was, since we decided to combine the genres, we did this thing where it transitions from a fantasy world to a reality world and kind of back and forth. So while I and Angela, one of our other writers, were really selecting in on the reality portions, we had Bill Patterson, one of our other writers, write the fantasy elements, the fantasy scenes. So I think it really came across well, where it felt like 2 different movies. Because that's kind of what we were going for. So you could really sense the different dialogue, the different styles there, the tones. I'm not saying maybe that could work for every kind of movie, but for us this year, with the way we blended our genres, it worked extremely well. And we were able to get a table redone by like 11:30, the same night on Friday.
Nice. Awesome. Maria?
That's impressive. I wish I could say the same. So same thing we do. I love what Jordan said about, having many people for the brainstorm and few for the writer's room. And we've made that mistake in the past too, where it's just too many people and egos and all that. But same thing with brainstorming. And one of the things that I usually lead the brainstorm, at least these past few years, one of the things that I make really evident is the importance of divergent thinking, or what's better known as blue sky thinking. I think often we are our biggest critics, and we want to edit and think logically before we are creative. And so my one rule is, if we're brainstorming, anything is possible. Well, we can't get a hold of something, like, I don't care. Throw the idea out, because it could develop someone to spin off of that and have something else. So it's always sky's the limit. And then we'll usually break down into a smaller group after that and talk about logistics. All right, let's converge on these ideas. What's actually possible? And can we try and make some of these things that we really fell in love with possible? And then we'll break it down to maybe the top 2 ideas and develop them a little bit more. But the writer's room this year was started with 5, went down to 4. I typically am not someone who's part of the writer's room. I've done it several times, but it's not my favorite, typically because I'm acting and I want to get my sleep. But knowing that I was directing this year, I'm like, I got to be close with this. We knew it was going to be a dramatic film, and I wanted to not wake up and be like, all right, what am I directing? Like, I wanted to be close to it and know it through and through. And the other thing is, I never marry myself to a script either. So last year, I did The Forgotten Song. I directed that, and then I directed The Farm this year. And in both of those, I spoke with some people, and they're like, I really liked this one scene, or I really liked that one scene. And those were on the fly scenes that just happened the day of shooting, that I'm like, stop, wait, I have an idea. We have to throw this in. And those are those moments that really make the film sometimes, is when you're not so dedicated to getting line by line on the script. And that's scary for some people, but if my intuition's saying we got to get something, then we switch gears and we do it the day of the shoot.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And I feel like genre determines writing the most. And I think, Jordan, you probably know all the genres. What
They
do you think
change a
really,
little bit, but
do they?
yeah, they do. They release a like genre list every year, and they take some off and put some on, and they try to stay relevant with what's going on in, the world and politics and what's going on. Sometimes they try to take politics out of it, and they'll take the political film out because they don't want it to be the sore subject for people and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that's come and gone over the years. There's the cool thing about the genres is a lot of people end up doing the mix, which is weird.
Mhm.
You don't have to make it harder on yourself, maybe, but a lot of people do the mix, and it's cool. There's the other thing that you can do, which is, like say, Jordan, you're a comedy writer.
Yep.
You could draw drama, and then you're making a dramedy because you're really into comedy and you wanted to make a
Mhm.
comedy all along, but you have to have it be drama, but you can make it a funny drama. That's possible. If you're
Yeah.
really big into horror, you could make a horror drama, and you can mix the genres. It does, and with your personal taste too. It just has to be on genre, and the judges do judge by. I think 35% of it is adherence to the assignment, and so how on genre were you? If you chose to make it a horror primarily instead of a drama, then the judges could mark you down for that. That's a way that could go. But you have to be true to the genre first and foremost.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think? I think for everyone too is, what do you like? I feel like I'm always scared of getting Western or musical, but I always prepare by having an actor who could sing or has access to a horse. What genre I think are you guys all scared of, or you were surprised that you drew and you're like, and it came out really good? I know last year I had Fish Out of Water, and I think the film I did last year was really good. Are there any genres you've drawn before for everyone that you were like, oh, what are we doing with this? But it came out pretty good.
Last year we got social media film, and
Mm.
I was definitely like, when I looked at the list initially, I was like, oh, I do not want that. Like that would be hard, and it's hard to make a serious film out of that. We did a great job. Ryan wrote it with a couple other people. Angela is my fiance. She wrote it with him, and Bill Patterson again. And they did a great job with it. I loved the film. It turned out hilarious and
Mm.
right on point, I thought.
Yeah, for me, I think the ones I've always been afraid of have been fantasy, um, superhero,
Mm.
political or climate. I feel like in my mind, and some people will hate me for this, I'm so the superhero stuff is so oversaturated. And for me, I'm someone who I truly do love drama, and you could do a superhero drama. But for me, my mind, because I'm so not part of that world, just automatically goes to cliche stuff. And I don't want to make a cliche film.
Yeah.
Western is another one that I'm afraid of. And I don't want to say afraid. I think it would be a challenge. But I think one of the things is, like, when you don't know a genre well, you jump into the cliches. All right, we got a cowboy hat, and draw your guns, and it's not that simple. There are elements to those types of genres that make it what it is. So it's more that I'm unfamiliar with those things. I haven't done them before, and I want to do them justice. So yeah, Western's always been one that I'm like, oh God, not today, not this time. But I'm dying for a mockumentary. I want to get a mockumentary one of these years.
Yeah.
So I would crush at a mockumentary because the basis of my business is primarily talking head and B-roll films. So if we ever got a mockumentary, it would
Yeah.
be over for everyone real fast. But the problem is here. So what I'm scared of the most is, to be honest with you, I thought about it for a second, and I was like, well, what would I be scared of? Comedy. Because it's so
Really?
hard to be funny. You're a funny guy. You live and breathe this stuff. If you're not living and breathing what is funny to a really wide audience. I mean, I can be funny to people that like the weird stuff I like, but it's really hard to be universally funny, and it's
Oh
easy
yeah.
to have a joke not land. So, being in the audience and seeing the first the time a whole audience, a big audience, has seen your film, it's got to be a little nerve-wracking. Did this joke hit? Did that joke hit? So that one's scary to me. In terms of the Western and the comedy stuff, I'm sorry, Western and musical. Western, I've seen some interpretations before where it's like a modern Western, where it's the style. Maria was saying there's elements in there, right, that make it a Western. So you could shoot it like a Western without having the horse. You could shoot it in that style where there's a standoff and there's, something happening where the classic thing in a Western, would be a standoff in the middle of the street and who's going to draw first. You could shoot that exactly the same way over, two chefs in a kitchen and shoot it exactly like a style of a Western. And again, this has to be very visible that it's the Western style, and it has to be like, oh, that's the joke, right? That's the hook to this movie, is that it is a Western, but it's not, but it is. So that can happen. Music is a crazy one because now AI is allowed, and you can make AI music really fast. And like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you would be really, really screwed if you didn't have a composer on your team and you didn't have a person who's really talented at this. And fast forward a couple years, and there's a world where if you wanted to do it, you could literally have the computer make songs, and you could write the words. That could be your writing, but it's just put to a harmony. So your mileage will vary on whether or not you want to take advantage of those things, because a lot of people don't, but some people do. And for a musical in that time period, if you just don't even have that resource at all, it's a solution.
This episode of Screenwriters Talk Screenwriting is presented by scriptreads.com, script coverage for screenwriters by screenwriters. At scriptreads.com, every reader is a real produced screenwriter with verified IMDb credits. You'll get 2 to 3 pages of detailed, encouraging feedback designed to strengthen your story and bring it closer to the screen. No AI, no cookie-cutter notes, just honest insights from screenwriters who've actually made movies. Visit scriptreads.com. That's SCRIPTREADS.com. Because your script deserves a real reader. Lily, so you drew True Detective and something else. How did you feel when you drew? Tell us what the other one was, and how did you feel when you got those genres?
Yeah, so it was detective, cop, and then the other one we didn't do was time travel.
Yeah.
I love noir stuff, so I was actually pretty excited to draw that. And we also, the required character was a health inspector, so we pretty quickly put together, inspector, detective, and thought it'd be pretty good to make the health inspector play as a detective. And I'm really happy with how that worked out. Like, we shot it like a noir. We did black and white. Like, I really like the style we did. And I'm super happy with what I drew. And there was definitely ones that I was worried about drawing. So I was definitely pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and it turned out great.
So, Lily, your example there is like the Western, right? The modern version.
Yeah.
You took noir and health inspector and put that together in a way that isn't the classic noir, but you have all the style elements, and it was very visible. When your film started, I knew your team was fresh and everything, and as I watched it, I was like very pleasantly surprised by all the cool things that you were doing with the cinematography and all the ways that you really leaned into that genre and made it so obvious and cool. So I was pleasantly surprised in a really awesome way. And that's why we kicked off the whole show with it, because we got to start with a bang. And it was super cool. So good job.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Of course.
Yeah.
And what I love to I love films that take the required character and like make them the main character in the story. We've done that a couple times here and there. Usually every year there's a few teams that do it, and it's always, I think it just highlights even more that 48-hour element of like, wow, you like, this is really all original from this required character you just got that day.
Yeah. I think for anyone who's not familiar with the 48-hour film project too, like this year we had health inspector. 2 years ago was vice principal was the character we had to use. And then what was last year? Last year was
assistant manager. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Manager in training.
Manager in
Yes. Yeah.
training. Yeah, everyone had to have a character that was a manager in training. So they can all vary. I would love to hear from Maria and Jordan about going to France because of this festival, and tell us all about that year and
Well,
the success you've had.
we didn't just go to Cannes because we also went to Paris because Filmapalooza
Yes.
was in Paris. So that year, we were super lucky to go to France twice in a very short period of time. And
Within 2 months.
yeah, they just turned right back around and went again. So the Paris Filmapalooza was absolutely incredible. And your team, Maria, won Best Cinematography, was nominated for Best Editing, and was nominated for Best Film, which makes it one of the top 4 or 5 in the world.
Hmm.
Really incredible performance on that. Winning Best Cinematography in the world is like, that's remarkable. That's
It
remarkable.
was wild. It
Yeah,
was wild. Yeah, and it's in Portugal this year, Filmapalooza. Is
it
that
is.
right?
Yes, it's in
Yeah.
Portugal.
Um, I mean, I've been to Filmapalooza twice. Once in Paris, and then the following one was Orlando. So it's like they didn't even compare. But Paris was an absolute freaking dream. It was my first time going to Europe. It was my first time going anywhere overseas, and it was for our little film that ended up going really far. So Jordan ended up joining us for that trip, and you were there for Cannes, right?
Of
Or did you
course,
go to? You went
yes.
to Paris too? Yeah, you were at Paris.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and we had an absolute blast. But that was for Ride of Your Life in 2017, and um, just to be able to meet the people around the world is probably my favorite thing, because they're all doing the same competition, and they're, you know, thousands and thousands of miles away. And the thing is, like, we've been to Cannes 3 times. I personally went twice, but our films have gone 3 times. And when you go and you see the same people over and over, and it's like maybe 5 years in between, and you're like, oh my God, you're still doing this. And just, it's that collective love for this art form is so amazing. So that first year that we went, we ended up really taking charge of Cannes and like kind of trying to see like what it's like to sell a film. And there's actually a list of distributors there that you can get the email, and it'll have the list of like, here are all the big people who are showing up and they're here to buy films. So we just went back to our villa the one day, and we got on our laptops, and we're like, you email that person, you email that person. And we were just setting up meetings left and right. And by the time we had made it there, a lot of them had left, but we ended up getting a couple meetings with people, and we sold our film, which was just, it was like, wow, we're doing this. Like, this was just a 48-hour weekend, and here we are selling our film in the French Riviera to Shorts TV. And it was the beginning of something that I became very obsessed with. And I just love it. I love it all.
And that was your second year participating?
Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, so Ride of Your Life. Do you remember what the line of dialogue, the prop, and the character were that year?
Oh man.
Jordan might.
I don't. I'm trying to think.
The line of dialogue was oh my God. The character was Lori Tantalon, and she was a writer, or a failed writer. And the line of dialogue was, I can remember the scene we used it. I don't know. I'm not gonna waste your time. It'll come to me.
So when you go to the Cannes Film Festival, the film is entered in the short film corner, which is a huge like bar and networking area that has events and programming daily. And then you can go into screening little booths. So like, let's say you meet someone and they want to check out your film, you can go into a little private viewing area and show them your film, because it's all in a database on a computer. There's a list of people that could potentially buy your film or be the next level for you, literally printed on the wall. Like, this is not a hard list to get. Like, this is like, they want you to call these people wanted to be found and they put it on the wall for you. So I remember seeing that and taking a picture of it and being very impressed with the fact that that was just openly available, because I'd never seen anything like that in my life. I'd never seen anything like a film market at all. I mean, I love the Buffalo International Film Festival, but it is not a film market like a Cannes. It's just not the same thing. It's a great place for our local community to get together and watch a lot of amazing films. But the film market at Cannes is like going to the auto show at the convention center, except it's all movies. So imagine every booth. There's a table set up and they've got a screen where you can view the trailer and whatnot, and there's a movie poster and you can talk to whoever's trying to sell it. That just is something I've never seen in my life. And it was incredible. It closed the loop on like, how do you get a film sold? How do you get it seen? Where are the distributors? Where do you get this information? And I'm sure there's people in LA and New York that are more connected to those folks, but being from Buffalo, it was something I'd never seen at all, especially publicly, just printed on the wall.
Awesome. Can you talk about so I guess every city has an award show, right? So Buffalo has our award show. It's gonna be in like a month or two. Can you talk about, and Radio Life? I'm guessing won best film for Buffalo
Yeah,
that year.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this film goes on to the next level, and then
Okay.
yeah. So
That was my
there's,
question. What happens? Like, how many films from each city go to the next level, and how does the next level work?
you know, I'll be honest with you, it's a little bit muddy at this point because they've grown so much with their Cannes ties. It used to be the top 15 in the world would screen at screening at Cannes. And now, since there's the Yes We Can competition, so anyone who's runner-up or third place can enter this Yes We Can competition. And there's a pretty high probability of getting into Cannes from one of those films because there's less participants, but there's more opportunities from that pool to get into a second screening. So I don't actually know the total number at this point, to be honest with you, because some of the genre ones go in that block too, but it may be closer to 30 at this point. For those that don't know, because we talked about the 48, but it is in 130 international cities. So when you go to the Cannes Film Festival and see people there, and also when you go to Filmapalooza, but it was super cool at Cannes, there was a team that was Japanese, and they had a translator with them, and I interviewed them through their translator. And it is truly a multicultural international experience that you just don't get around here. It's a whole different worldview. I was talking to the team from Mongolia, and I was looking at their writing, and it looks sort of similar to like a Russian type of writing, Cyrillic maybe. I don't know if that's what it's called, but I asked, it's like, oh, do Mongolian people write in Russian? And he says, no, this is Mongolian writing. And I was like, oh, all right. Like, I just didn't even know. This is amazing multicultural experiences to have there. And one of the guys from Mongolia, one of their, I guess their city producer, he had a booth there because he's a film distributor. So he was going between the 48 events and down to his booth. And that was super cool to see someone put that into action.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Okay. So I got one more question for everyone, and then we'll do like a quick wrap up. But my question is, what advice would you give someone thinking about entering entering the 48 for the first time, 48-hour film project? And what makes you, it's, I guess, whatever, two-part question. What makes you want to do it every single year over and over? Lily, I'm guessing you want to do it again next year. Maybe you don't, but I'm guessing you do. But what advice would you give to someone who wants to try it out? And what makes you want to keep going?
I would say, I mean, just do it if you think you want to do it. I signed up like on a whim, pretty much. I went to that filmmakers meeting that you had, and you were like, "Hey, you should sign up for this." And I was like, "Hey, okay." Yeah. And yeah, I'm super glad I did. It's a lot of work, and you're obviously going to know it's a lot of work. It's a film in 48 hours, but it is even more fun to do than I thought it was going to be. So just if you think you might want to, just try it.
And yeah, you can just go online and just sign up. So anyone, it's like in what, all major cities across America and Canada, I think, Jordan, you
In the
probably know more
United
than I.
States, it's in most states. So in terms of major cities, the nearest one to us is Toronto, major city. Then after that, like Cleveland and Pittsburgh, I think probably are the next closest.
Cool. I love ours too because it's not too big. I know like Chicago has like multiple days they do in the theater, like 10 days. I think Toronto does too. I like
Yeah.
that I love that in Buffalo you can watch all the short films in a weekend. That's what I love about Buffalo. But
Well,
yeah.
that's cool. And we can still grow a little bit and keep that 2-day format. What we don't want to do is go into 3 and 4 because then we're taking up 2 weekends or trying to find a new theater because we can't do nighttime stuff at the North Park because of their it's only one theater house, right? So if they have a film running, they have to play it. It's a contract that they have with the film distributors. So it's tough for us to get night spots for that. So we'd probably be looking at another theater if we were going to like try to do all the premieres at night over a week, like 4 or 5 days or something like that. So we're locked. 40 is our new cap, and we don't even have wiggle room at that. It's 40 is really it because we're shoehorning things in and doing the intermission.
Yeah, I think the intermission worked. I was hesitant about the intermission, but I think it works. I love the timer. I like that you guys put a timer on there and say like, get back to your seats within 10 minutes, you know, get that popcorn and sit down. So I think that
That's
works.
great.
Yeah, that definitely worked this year. I did not know those timer, but the timer helped.
My advice to someone who is going to do it is probably this is the most city producer advice that's maybe the least encouraging. Read the rules. Read the rules. Please read the rules. When you're going to sign up, read the rules. That would be my first thing. Because there's a lot of them, but it doesn't take that long to read them. They're short. They're like 2 or 3 sentences per rule, but there's a bunch of rules. So I would say read the rules for sure.
Yeah, I didn't know
then,
any of the rules when I signed up.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules.
That's true.
Yeah. But also, if you have a friend read the rules or someone else on the team, then 2 people have shared knowledge of the rules, and they can both try to get you to not make a mistake with the rules. So I recommend as many people as you can possibly get on the team to read the rules. That would be ideal. But that's my advice on that. My secondary advice would be choose people that you work well with already, or consider it a testing ground to see if you can work with someone in the future, because team dynamics and relationships form during this, and they also show their true character and ability to thrive in this competition too. The forced creativity and time limit definitely brings out some of the best moments, and sometimes it can bring out some bad ones too. So know that. But if you learn on the 48 that you can't work with someone, then you're really saving yourself a major headache from trying to feature with them and halfway through having irreconcilable differences. So I highly recommend going with people you trust and knowing that it's a tryout for future relationships with filmmaking.
Yeah, definitely. I'll kind of piggyback off that. I think for me, I love hell yes people. I love when if I text someone and they respond like the same day, like, yeah, I want to act, or yeah, I want to do this. I know they're eager to participate, and they'll be hard on, like, there'll be a hard worker on set. People who like are maybe, or like, oh, let me think about it. I'm like, I want people who like, that's why I love the mixer. Because when I went to the mixer, there's so many people who were like, I'm an actor, I'm an editor, I'd love to be part of a team, and those are the people I want because I know they're excited to do this. So I would say I'm a big believer in hell yes people. So find hell yes people to do this. But yeah, Ryan and Justin and Maria, any advice?
Sure.
And what makes you want to keep going?
I would say for anyone thinking about starting it, you know, and maybe you're daunted because maybe you don't know a whole lot of people, right? We had 27 people on our team. You don't need 20, 30 people to start a team. Starting out small is great. Maybe you find that rhythm and you just continue on having, you know, small teams of 7, 8, 9 people. That's fine. And that can work really well. I'd also say, and I don't just say this because I work with audio, but don't forget about audio. That can make or break a film. The learning curve is a lot less on getting good at audio than it is at, say, cinematography. And the equipment to invest in is typically cheaper than some high-end, you know, camera equipment. So don't forget about audio. That can definitely make or break it. And I had another short piece of advice, and I'm blanking on it now.
While you think of it, I'll echo and say great advice on the audio. That's one of the number one things that can be a problem. And some people can be good with their cameras and not great with audio, and the film gets tanked because of that. Cameras at a certain level all do a really good job. You know, if you're really talented and you have a modern but maybe not the highest spec'd out DSLR, even, you can get really great results out of it. If you have the mic too far away, it's going to be a dog, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, be flexible with it. You know, you're not going to get a whole lot of sleep. So, you know, you need to find people that are willing to maybe do several different positions on a film set. Find those multi-talented folks that are willing to do those things. For me, what keeps driving me to do it every year is the challenge of it and wanting to get better. Getting to work with people that, you know, have been my friends for a really long time, and maybe I don't always get to, you know, see them as much or get able to or be able to really collaborate in like a creative fashion with them a whole lot. So that's what keeps bringing me back every year.
Yeah, I would say to people, don't be intimidated. I think the entire weekend can be super intimidating when you're first starting out. I didn't do it for 2 years when Ryan did it because of that. I was just a little intimidated by it. I was like, well, I don't know about this. I don't know if I can do this. And then, you know, I did it and I fell in love with it immediately. And 2 years after I started, I became a team leader. I love doing it every year. It brings me back. I love to stretch my creative bones, I guess. I work and edit. I edit like every day at work, but it's a lot of similar stuff. So being able to do something that's totally creative that we get to start and finish in a whole weekend that is 100% ours, and we can do whatever we want with, and you don't know where it's going to start and you really don't know where it's going to end, but you know that you're going to make something cool at the end of it.
Yeah, I can echo all of those same things. I can't talk enough about team culture. I don't care if someone's been working on set for 15 years. If they come with an ego and a bad attitude, I don't want to work with them. It's about people having that hell yes attitude, having initiative when something needs to be done, that they don't ask questions, they don't talk back. It's just boom, I'm there, I'm doing it. Like, those are the people you need around you, because you are as strong as your weakest link. So surround yourself with good people who are hungry to create. When I think about the 48, I just made a post about it the other day, and I just said, if you don't know where to start here, because it is so low stakes. There's no budget involved. Mm-hmm. You've got a built-in screening with an audience, which where else are you going to get that? Unless you're like submitting something to a film festival and hopefully getting in. But if you're a newcomer, you know that no matter what, you've got a built-in festival where people are going to be watching you and they can give feedback. That's paramount. That's so awesome. And I don't think a lot of people really think about that. And just the networking opportunities that are available are huge. And then the other thing that I would say is Red Bull and pizza will not get you through a weekend. Have someone on Crafty. I mean, like, I put so much thought and effort into like making sure that those people are like ready to go with like well-balanced meals and like at the ready to hand out granola bars when needed. But really, like, it's a mental, physical toll. Stay hydrated and full of nutrition, and pizza's not going to do
that. I would like to wrap on the feedback feedback to people who would do it the first time by saying, you're entering into a filmmaking community when you do this, and it's an awesome place to be because they're all filmmakers just like you, and they have common goals of getting better at what they're doing, working together, meeting each other, networking, and creating awesome stuff. So that would be my greatest thing. You're not just making a movie, which that can be a big win for you. Making your first movie, that's huge. That's incredible. You're not just honing your skills. You are making friends, whether it be just with your team and you're solidifying that bond, or with the other, 65 people that were involved in making these films in your year. You're going to meet people and you're going to have a good time and you're going to remember what happened pretty much your whole life.
Yeah, that's so true. I think this is so good for a community. I know I make friends with my team, but also like I make friends with other people on other teams. Like Ryan and I met at the sushi place after the last screening last year. Then we did a short film together. We wrote a short film together and produced that in October. So yeah, it's a great way to like learn about the community in your city, the filming community in your city, and grow with them and be with them. And I think it's so cool too that like some people I only see them like once a year because of this, but I still get to catch up with them every year and see what they're working on and other projects they're a part of. So that's awesome. Okay, so we'll do a quick wrap up. I realized no one said the name of their film that they did this year yet. So we'll just go around one last time, same order. I guess I'll start again because apparently Jordan is whatever.
Well,
There's no
if I started, my film was the 48-hour film project
yeah.
2025, and all these wonderful team leaders made amazing movies, and we compiled it together, and it was truly a hell of a show. It really was fantastic, and even like between the 2 days, hearing the feedback of like, oh well, I think this day was better because of this, or I think that day was better because of that. They were both awesome days with huge crowds, and they were both fun and exciting and interesting for very different reasons, and it was a hell of a show.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely, it was awesome. Yeah, my film was Positively Dead. That was the name of my film. Oh, I was gonna say the name of your film for this year. If you want to share any socials or your YouTube channel, if your film's going to be on there, because now we can show them on YouTube after the screenings. That's according to the rules, right, Jordan? Right?
I actually just wrote to the person who polices the rules, and I said, rookie question here. Everyone can show their films, right? Because I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I went to look it up, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I just want to double, triple check that before I like tell everyone at once. But I'm like 99% sure. It's one of
Yeah.
those ones that I don't want to be wrong, so I second guess it, because if I tell people and then they start releasing the films, then I have to like try to get Pandora's box closed. But
Yeah.
99% certainty that you're accurate on that.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I read it like last week or 2 weeks ago. It's like as long as they screen first at the screenings, then you can put them on YouTube afterwards. So yeah, Positively Dead was the name of my film this year. It'll be on YouTube at youtube.com/funnybuffalo. Oh, say the name of your production company too. So my production company is Funny Buffalo Films. Um, and yeah, I think that's pretty much, I know it's a lot, guys. Sorry. So name of your film, where you can find it, your production company, and socials if you have them. So we'll keep going. Lily, go ahead.
My film was The Bends with Pastel Stairwell Productions, and that'll be on YouTube. The same username. It should be youtube.com/pastel stairwell.
Awesome.
Yeah, our team name was Another Buffalo Production. It's the same thing on socials. It's Another Buffalo Production, and we made Journey to Ascension.
And I remember my short piece of advice. I'll throw this in very quickly. Jordan Lima reminded me, if there's ever an issue on set where somebody's like, I don't know if we can do this. I don't know if this is against the rules. I don't know that. Call your city producer. They'll know.
Yeah.
Always do that. It saves arguments on set. It saves questions in the editing room. It can save a disqualification. Call the city producer.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. One more quick thing to add, just to confuse you guys more. Just for Ryan, Justin, Maria, and Jordan, do you have a favorite 48 you've done of the past? Because you guys have done it a lot. What is that film, and where can you find it now?
This year for sure for me.
Okay, nice.
And you can't find it yet,
but you will. The link will be on our Instagram channel, which again is Another Buffalo Production. Follow us on Instagram. We'll post that link up there pretty soon.
Awesome. Maria.
Oh man. I think Ride of Your Life is a classic that can be found on YouTube or PanAmericanFilmDivision.com. And one of the lesser known ones was Eyes Like Mine, which was a period piece shot at the Niagara Gorge, and it is a cinematic, beautiful piece. You can also find that on YouTube and PanAmericanFilms.com. Again, I'm Maria Braun. My team this year was Scope Takes. You can find them on Instagram. And our film was The Farm. And you can follow me on Maria Braun for acting on Instagram.
Awesome. Jordan, what about you? Last one for you.
My favorite was the last one that I shot prior to becoming the city producer. It was called Reconnect. It was in 2015. If you search for Reconnect 2015 Buffalo 40-hour film project, it should come up. And it was clearly the biggest and best one that I had ever done. And it will have to be many years before I'll be able to do it again, because even if I stop being the city producer, I think I have to wait 3 years before I can compete again. So that will stay that way as my favorite for a long time. And it holds up. It's a sci-fi from 10 years ago, and it holds up because it was well written, and pretty cool. So check it out.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much, everyone. That's it. I'll see you all soon, I'm sure, at a filmmaking event in Buffalo or the award show. So yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Screenwriters Talk Screenwriting. Subscribe, rate, and review for more episodes.
Screenwriters Talk Screenwriting is presented by scriptreads.com for coverage by real screenwriters who have produced movies. Book your script coverage at scriptreads.com. And now the joke of the podcast. Why did the Cyclops give up teaching? He only had one pupil.